Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TEPSA Presents, our Member Spotlight series. I'm your host, Todd Nesloni, the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership here at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. And each week, I'm excited to bring you a different leader from across the state of Texas for you to meet and learn from. And today, we have one of my favorite leaders in the state, Christina Barrera, on here today with us. Christina, can I tell everybody a little about who you are?
Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm Christina Barrera, and I'm a principal in the Corpus Christi Independent School District. I'm also a proud president of TEPSA for Region 2, so that's been a lot of fun. And basically just excited to be on the show. I'm so excited. I'm a huge fan of yours, so it's super neat to be here with you tonight.
Well, and just to give Christina a shout out at the top of this episode, every region throughout the year sets membership goals for what they want to achieve. And Christina's region, under her leadership, has met 100% of their goals. So I had to give a huge shout out to that. But yes. Christina, let's dive into your journey a little bit as we get started here. You know, everybody takes a different path from when they're in the classroom to that deciding moment of leadership might be for me, or someone telling you leadership might be for you. When did you decide that it might be time for you to step outside the classroom and try something different?
So I decided right away, and I only spent 4 years in the classroom. I was a 5th grade teacher, and I taught at Lozano Elementary School, which was in a pretty rough neighborhood, and we had some pretty challenging students, but I felt like I was one of those kids when I was growing up. So it was a really, it was a strong connection that I felt with that community and with those children. And so being in the classroom, I felt like I was able to impact the 25 students that I had in a positive way. And I thought to myself, it would be really neat if not just 25, but if I could be a principal and if I could inspire teachers to love teaching and to really build connections and build relationships with their students, then it's more than the 25 a year. It's going to be sometimes several hundred students a year, and then just make that ripple effect. So I wanted to early on, but I wasn't sure about it. And I was kind of thinking, I was a young mom. I didn't really want to go back to school because I had small children, but I had a principal that really pushed me, and her name was Faye Webb. And Mrs. Webb pushed me. And in fact, they actually named a school after her. So one of our schools here in Corpus Christi is named after Faye Webb. But what she would do is she would do, she'd go like this, and I'd go into her office. She was an elderly lady, and she was like, "When are you going to go back to school and be a principal?" And I was like, one day. And she would put in my box when I would go check my mail. Teachers have their teacher box. She would put in my box the course catalog for the university. And then she would put in my box like leadership information and things like that. So she had confidence in me, and she, I ended up going back to school. I signed up, I registered, and she passed away. And the day, I remember we went to see her in the hospital, and talking to her right before she passed away. And I said, okay, I'm going for it. I'm going to do it. And just that conversation was really neat because I could see that she was happy that I was going to do it. Yeah. So I did. I went back and became an assistant principal, and I did that for 6 years. And that was interesting. The assistant principal journey is an interesting one. And we had, I started out in a small campus, but I ended up in a bigger one. And then we consolidated with another school. So we opened up a brand new campus. So that was really neat to experience. We opened up Berlanga Elementary School. And so just being under the leadership of different principals when I was an assistant principal really, really gave me that extra motivation to go all the way and become a principal myself, and just pulling on their strengths. I've had some really, really good leaders, some really good principals in my journey that I've been able to pull and draw from their strengths, and just kind of figure out what kind of leader I wanted to be based on what I saw. So I did that for 6 years. And then I went, after 6 years, I applied and I became a principal. So I've been a principal for 12 years now in Corpus Christi ISD. And that journey has been fast. I feel like it was just yesterday. In fact, We were laughing because there was a time, and this is a true story. There was a time when I sat in the principal's meetings and I was the youngest principal in the district. And now I feel like I'm like grandma principal because and there's all these young, even my boss is like 30, like everybody's young and they're awesome though. They're coming up, they're fast, they're sharp. We have some really, really good leaders in our district, but yeah, time flew. It's been 22 years in the district and 12 years as a principal. So time
I
flew.
love it. Well, I will say, first of all, age is just a number. And second of all, I love how personal that story is and how someone just inspired you and encouraged you. Because I think in each of our journeys, we can think about that person who really pushed us towards something that we may not have gone completely for ourselves. And I love that you have that person in your career path as well. Well, Christina, when we talk about these episodes, outside of just the journey into being the principal and where you are now, tech is a part of everything that we do. We all carry on our phones. We've all got other devices. Heck, we Zoomed for 2 years. So when you think of a technology tool that you really like or that really helps you, whether it's professionally or in your personal life, what's a tool that you want to share with our listeners today?
Well, what I've recently discovered, and recently for me, but I'm sure this has been out for a while, I'm in love now with GoodNotes. And so I had no idea. I had no idea what that was. And I'm surrounded by educators who are very knowledgeable with technology. And I joke with my teachers that every year I have a technology goal, but I'm in year 10 of my technology goal from 10 years ago. I'm still trying to, but I found GoodNotes and I have that on my iPad. And what I love about it is I'm transitioning from my old school calendar that, like the paper calendar that you write in. And I'm one of those, I'm obsessed with my calendar. It has to be perfect. I can't mess up on it. I have stickers on it and all kinds of things. But now I'm moving to a digital platform. And I've done digital, like I have my, my Microsoft, my Outlook calendar, and I have things like that. But with GoodNotes, you can download this calendar template from, I think it's called Happy Downloads. And so I have it right here. It's just that cutesy type of little, I know it's ridiculous, but
so it looks just like a paper planner, but now you've got it on your iPad.
Yes. And you can put stickers on it. And then the other thing you can do with GoodNotes is you can write, and it's just like having a notebook, but it's on your iPad and you write, you can click a button and it changes your handwriting to text, and you can hit another button. It'll email it to whoever needs to read it. I'm still learning, and I would love to learn how to get my cutesy calendar to sync with my Outlook calendar, and I think there's a way to do it. Anyway, so that's my newest my newest little app that I'm in love with. It's called GoodNotes, and I'm sure people have heard about it, but it does a lot, and so I'm excited to learn more.
I actually have not heard of that one. I'm gonna have to share it with my wife because she still carries around that big old planner too, because she's like, no, this is super cute. And I can write, I can do all this stuff, but you made yours super cute and you're able to write on it with the iPad and everything. So I love that. Thank you. That's a great one. I haven't even heard of that one. So appreciate you sharing that. So, okay. So we've got your journey. We've got the tech tool. Now, we all know culture building on a campus is a never ending process.
Absolutely.
So what is something that you've done or would like to do or have tried when it comes to building up the culture?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one thing I think I'm super, super proud of the culture that we have at the campus where I'm at now. And I work at Menger Elementary School. So, and I think it's going to be different for everybody based on where you are in your leadership journey. I think that, if you come right into a campus, you can't skip down the hall with a jolly cart on your first day because it's not as genuine. I think it just depends on where you are. You have to build it. And once you're there, there's so many different things. And I've taken so much from you. You have some really, really, really good ideas. Taking your courses, read your books, you're amazing. And a lot of the things that you suggested, I've done. But one thing I think is key is before any of those fun things, I think we have to build a culture of trust for sure. And just to be vulnerable. I know that's a buzzword right now, but being genuine and being vulnerable. Even today, I'll give you an example. Even today, we had a conversation with the group of teachers, and we had to, I had to be vulnerable. We had to share feelings. But I love that. I think that all high functioning teams have that in common. Like they can trust each other. They know that we have each other's backs. And once you build that campus culture, then you can start putting on those other layers of, the fun and the cool things. But there's a quote that I love that, we had in our conference room at one time. And it's a quote by Dylan Williams. And he says, if we can build a culture where teachers want to improve, not because they're not good enough, but because we can be, or they can be even better, then there's nothing that, there's no limit to what we can do. And so I think building that culture of constantly wanting to grow and just having a growth mindset and having that first, and then the fun things. But to give you an example of a fun thing that we've done, and we've done a whole bunch of them, but just recently I just took my cell phone and I just stopped random students, in the cafeteria, in the hallway. And I asked them, I said, tell me what you love about your teacher. And I'm recording them. And so they're, and I've done, like we did from 3-year-old, because we just opened a 3-year-old class, 3-year-olds all the way up to my 10-year-olds. And just a few seconds of them. And it's really cool. And then I shared the little video. It's like less than 20 seconds. We have a WhatsApp, that, we all communicate on. And so I'll just throw out like Motivation Monday. Here's a cute little clip of a 3-year-old saying what they love about their teacher. And so things like that, I feel really help with the culture of, just including the kids, having the teachers affirm each other. Definitely our admin does tons and tons of fun things, but I think it took us a while to get there. We couldn't do that right off the bat because we had some other work that needed to be done. I think now that work is there and we built the foundation of trust and just, being open and honest, now the fun part comes in and we have a lot of fun. So we have a really, really good culture at our school. We're hoping to get, we were a national showcase campus last year for capturing kids' hearts, and we got a really high scores, actually beating the nation averages across the board. So I think we've worked really hard at culture, but yeah, it's paid off in a big way.
Well, I think you made so many good points in there, and I want to reiterate 2 of them. I love one that you said, you can't just go and do all the fun stuff because they're going to see right through it, and it doesn't stick if you don't do the hard stuff too, right. Which the hard stuff is learning how to be vulnerable as a leader in the right way with your people and in the right moments. And I think you so exquisitely explained that. That I think that was so well said. But on the other side, I got to say, recording the kids, that is such an easy to do and brilliant idea. And what teacher doesn't love to hear the things that kids say that they like about them?
Yes.
I mean, come on. Even if you don't have that kid, just an adorable kid sharing a good thing. So I think that those are just such great ideas. So, okay. So you've given us already so much greatness today, Christina. So as we close out the episode, the last question I love to ask is, if you were to give some advice to someone, maybe in their first year, maybe not, like I said in the last episode, every year is like our first year in administration, but what piece of advice would you give?
I would give a new administrator, I would give them the advice I would tell them, you have to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Build your network. Know what your team brings to the table. So draw on the strengths of your team. You're not going to know everything. And I think a lot of times new principals have that fear and anxiety of someone's going to ask me a question and I'm not going to know the answer. I'm going to need to hurry up and answer it. But don't be afraid to say, I don't know, but let me find out. I'll get back to you. And then reach out to whoever it is. For example, like in my team, my counselor is amazing with numbers. My assistant principal is amazing with relationships with parents, diffusing, a situation. So draw on those strengths. And the other thing I would say is join TEPSA. I mean, I know this is not a TEPSA commercial, but I'm going to say when I first became a principal, I joined, and you don't just get to network with the principals in your district, but outside of your district, and then all throughout Texas. I've met so many people and have so many friends that I can just text in just different parts of Texas and just to find out what they're doing and what's working. So I would definitely recommend the network, building a strong network and joining something like TEPSA, joining an organization like TEPSA.
Well, those go hand in hand.
Yes.
I mean, so what a great, that is a great commercial for TEPSA. And that's one of the biggest benefits of being a member is to help find your people, because no matter how large your district is, and I've always said this, you're still limited by the walls of your district. And so why not grow alongside others, have opportunities? So Christina, I am so thankful you came to share your brilliance today. There's so many takeaways. I'm going to have to listen to this episode multiple times to get them all in. But thank you so much for all the work you do. And thank you, everybody, for listening or watching another episode of TEPSA Presents. We hope to see you June 7th through 9th at the Kalahari Resort in Round Rock, Texas for our TEPSA Summer Conference. There is going to be Sean Cubby, Jimmy Casas, Carmen Agraditi, and all these amazing people are going to be there. So register today, and we'll see you on a brand new episode next week.
Thank you. Bye.